Okay, so Charlie and I are out here and I'm just kind of answering comments and checking out the garden and hanging out with Charlie, and I started seeing that a lot of these buttercups that are in our raised garden bed are producing. And I know that buttercups are very invasive. They are poisonous to eat, so do not eat them. But they're very invasive, so people probably think I'm crazy raising these with our flowers in our perennial bed and with some other crops. But there's a couple of reasons why I do this. One of the reasons is, as you can see here, my kids absolutely adore these flowers. They're so much fun. They bring so much memories back from when I was a kid. So many memories. Not pretty? Yeah. Okay. Charlie's helping me show off the flower up close. And additionally, Shadow, come here. My cat's rampaging.
Yeah, I'll go get him.
No, it's okay. He'll come back. Additionally, I did notice, other than our kids really enjoy them and they help plant the seeds in the perennial garden, last year we had a pretty intense beetle problem. And those little flea beetles, I had never seen them before. And they were everywhere. They just started demolishing stuff. But within 2 days, they left on their own. And so what I noticed is that the flea beetles, instead of migrating to my other crops, they all just kind of zoomed in on these buttercups. So I decided, they actually ended up in here, not carried by wind, but in a seed mix that I bought. My son had asked for, and they put in so many fillers that included buttercups, which it's not always cool because it can be frustrating buying fillers and getting what a lot of people consider weeds. But it worked out because I noticed that the flea beetles were really attracted to all of these flowers, and that allowed me to use them as a trap crop. So when all of these produced at this time, there are two things I noticed. One, my kids are going to come through, they're going to pick off all the flowers, probably put them on their noses, and joke about all the pollen being on their face, but they're not going to have a chance to go to seed. And so I don't have to worry about them reseeding, and I can use them to kind of attract all the flea beetles to the flowers and away from things like this, which is my cilantro, which reseeded itself. And I can eat this plant, or I can save the seeds and eat those as coriander. And also, I can just let them grow because who doesn't love them? They're pretty in the garden. And here in Zone 9A in Texas, they produce a crop twice a year, in early spring and in fall, because they prefer cool weather versus our Texas heat. And they're quite a bit here. And so as all of these buttercups, as they start to bloom, they attract the flea beetles. And then when the blooms come out, I'll start letting the kids pick the blooms and just play with them. And I'll start pulling out these flowers, and we can actually compost them, especially if you use a composting method that generates heat and these haven't produced seed yet. It'll break those down. And so it adds nutrition to our compost, but also then they're so easy to pull up. I can literally just reach my hand down in here. You can see the roots and just pull them out, no problem whatsoever. And that kind of helps keep the soil moist. And then when they're pulled out, we have all this additional planting space, which is really, really nice.
Almost all the way.
We have a ton of colored flowers. So as I'm recording, I'm having to periodically stop because we do live in a neighborhood in an urban area, and as cars drive by, they're getting off school, work, various activities. It's a lot of noise. I'm just gonna walk around you, sweet boy. And right, there are a ton of flowers. All of these are those buttercups, but I will pull them out. You can see some of our cilantro is starting to bolt and go to seed, which the seed's edible, but I also leave some out here to reseed the garden. And on top of the seed being edible, it's just delicious. Now this awful plant here is poison ivy, and so I'll have to get some gloves and pull that out because I do have some pretty severe allergies to that. Oh no. Your dad's showing us that the burner to the stove went out. Oh, that stinks. So we'll have to get another one of those.
I don't got it.
We're currently rebuilding our kitchen, so we're using those little plug-in burners you get from the store for like $15, and it only takes about 4 to 6 months for them to go out. So we really need to get our stove connected. And look at this. these leaf-footed bugs, which are really immature stink bugs, they are so bad this year already. They're everywhere, and I'm trying to get them out. If you don't like creepy crawlies or weird smells, I wouldn't recommend smushing them with your bare hand because they do emit a horrible smell, and you'll have to wash your hands. But if you don't care, get them off your plants, because once they lay eggs, they can cause some serious damage.
Goodbye, my dog.
Dad is going to probably get another burner to cook, or maybe he needs something for dinner.
Spider.
I'm not sure what plant this is, but it's a... Oh no, I lost the flower you gave me. Isn't it cool? It's one of those wildflowers. I don't know. So if you've watched this far into the video and you know what kind of plant this is, it came from our wildflower mix, leave a comment below and let me know, because I'm actually pretty interested. And then you can see just random wild grasses, all this crazy stuff growing in here that needs to come out. And the geese can actually eat some of this, and then the rest will be composted. But you can see how I use it kind of as a trap crop. And then when it grows up around things like this rose bush, which I have to be careful with because it has massive thorns.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
They're beautiful. This is actually the peach tea rose, and it's actually the logo right now to our homesteading page. And I absolutely adore this. It's one of the first things that I planted when we built this bed. I didn't realize it had such massive thorns when I planted it. Ooh, look at those. But, man, it's beautiful. Charlie, be careful with those thorns, buddy.
What are they of?
Aren't those flowers gorgeous? And I actually trim this back because sometimes I use these beautiful flowers to put in different things to donate to people, to gift to people. Say my cousin had a dance recital last year, and we took her these beautiful flowers to kind of say congratulations, which is really cool. To give someone flowers that came from your own garden makes it even more special. Look, there's some kind of black fly here on this rose bush. I'm not sure it's supposed to be here. No, it's not a love bug. It's much bigger. It looks like... I'll have to look this up. Isn't that crazy, the things you find in your garden? And so, with everything kind of growing here... Whew, it got a little blurry. Sorry about that. When I go in and out, kind of leaning closer, my phone tries to adjust and it gets a little crazy sometimes. So here are the turnips kind of growing in there. We thinned them out and now they're growing up. And these will grow kind of for the bulbs for the animals, and then we'll eat the greens, or the animals can eat both. You can see some are starting to turn colors. It's because it's been getting in the 80s already. Isn't it crazy? It's March and already in the 80s.
There you go.
Thank you. Now, I will warn you, you're going to see this video about the garden in March on this side before you see videos from February for other parts of the yard. And that just has to deal with how much work I have to do to kind of either edit them or add other clips to them so you can kind of see in comparison previous years in our garden. But here it is, all of these buttercups, and they're starting to need to be picked. Ooh, that's calendula. Those are actually medicinal plants, so we'll save. Can you show them again?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good. So we have orange and yellow. Gorgeous. I saw some really pretty like peach cream colored ones that I want to get, I think from Johnny Seeds. It could have been Gurney's. I love both of those. And so we're going to save those and also save seeds from them whenever they produce seed heads. Some of the dried ones over there are going to produce seed heads. I'll make a separate video on that because I feel like with calendula and a lot of other medicinal herbs or herbs that people use for teas, they kind of require their own videos. There's so much information to cover really well. But you can see I have carrots growing up in here. There's a carrot. So this kind of protects everything, and as it gets to be too much, can you hold these beautiful flowers you picked for me, please, sir?
Put them right there.
Thank you. As they get to be too much, what I do is I reach kind of around all of them, and I just pull them out. And these don't get wasted, because what the animals are not able to eat, like I said, it just gets composted. So I literally will just pull these out all around my plants when they get too high to avoid crowding out anything important. And additionally, it's still, you know, it provides some nutrients for my compost.
Look at all those flowers.
Look at all those flowers. Good.
I need to show them.
They're beautiful.
Flowers.
Ooh, I accidentally got some of that grapevine right there. And so this all came out from right there, and that'll get composted, and it'll kind of give this little fennel some room to grow up and be healthy. And actually, you can see it has some browning of the leaves here, and that's actually probably
Can I bring the
for
audience somewhere?
excessive rain. Where would you like to take them, sir?
Take them over there.
Before we go, now we've kind of covered all of this growing here and how we had flea beetles and we use this as a trap crop, and that's not going to be for everyone, depending on how much work you want to put into it and if you're even able to get out here and collect the flowers or remove the plants before they start to seed, because that could cause some serious issues for you.
This. It smells like lemon.
It smells like licorice. This is called a fennel. All right, so Charlie wants to show, and actually I'll probably give him the camera one day and let him make his own little video, but he wants to kind of show off some of these flowers over here in his brother's garden bed. Charlie, you are the only boy who hasn't started your own garden bed yet.
Because I'm not being trying to raise ducks.
Yeah, so Charlie's more into ducks than that. He has his own Welsh Harlequins, his own trio of Welsh Harlequins he's raising up so that he can sell their eggs and sell the babies. And also we're going to try and start getting into showing more so we can kind of figure out exactly what we need to do and kind of compare to other breeders and homesteads.
So ducks.
He's really more into production. You can tell he's a homestead kid, right? So these beautiful pansies we actually got from the local grocery store. My oldest son planted them. This whole triangular bed is strictly his garden. He takes care of it pretty much by himself, and he lets us come out here and harvest his chives. And saving seeds and harvesting chives are pretty much all that I will come out here and do to mess with his garden. This is strictly his garden. He loves it. Sam also has his own garden, but Charlie is more into, what do you say you're more into? Ducks. Yeah, he's more into the ducks like I am. I'm really into ducks and learning about their genetics and everything else. So he just wanted to show you these absolutely gorgeous little pansy flowers. And believe it or not, pansies, this is going to have to be another video too. You can make syrup out of them, which is so cool and so delicious. So, yeah. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Hold on, I can't see it.
Hello, sir.
We're kind of zoomed in pretty far because they're showing off the pansies. So we're gonna go ahead and head inside. It's about dinner time. My phone is dying and it's getting dark. I just kind of wanted to show off some of the flowers in here and how we do the trap crop for the flea beetles. I actually made a short video on flea beetles, and I think a longer one because at the time I had no idea what flea beetles were, and that was almost a year ago. So it's amazing how much you can learn in 1 year. If you see some different buttercups or anything and you want to try this, I think it's a good thing. And also I had a viewer tell me that they use those little yellow sticky traps to catch flea beetles in the areas that they're worse, and they work really well, and it's a great way to not have to spray and still get rid of flea beetles. So I hope this kind of helps you out and shows you what we're doing. I'm sorry that we're kind of skipping a week ahead of the other videos that we'll show later this week and next week. It has been a wild ride here with everything going on.
Look up.
From doctor's appointments to just living life. So please forgive me for getting out of order, and thank you so much for kind of hanging out with us today.